Hey everyone, I'm Charles and I'm back once again. We've got some exciting updates for this devlog since the team was able to attend and demo Short Fuse at GDC. They have some great highlights we'll be showing today, as well as a look into the fixes and changes we made during our 3-day showcase. Let's get right into it.
GDC was a pretty excellent time for all of us. We were hosted by the New York State Pavilion, and a lot of people stopped by and playtested the game. The team members attending, me, Mike, Max, and Chad, got to talk with a lot of people, get feedback on the state of the game, and watch it break in brand new ways in the hands of zealous playtesters. To everyone who stopped by, we love you and hope to see you next year. We got to meet tons of people in the games industry, including producers, artists, recruiters, programmers, designers, and more. Networking was abundant, and we gave away lots of Short Fuse business cards, so we're expecting people to join the Short Fuse party. Prepping for GDC was no joke, as we worked to get everything we wanted to show off in the game before we caught our flights. Never mind the business cards, shift scheduling, and coordinating on the ground. If you have ever been to a convention of the scale before, it is a very exhausting time, but it was all worth it in the end. To round things off, the playtest at GDC gave us a lot to think about in regards to the design of the game. We're getting to work on this and expect to see new and exciting changes in the game in the future as things cook behind the scenes.
I was unfortunately not able to make it to GDC, so instead I thought it would be nice to time-lapse our changes we made during the event. We of course did our best to make sure the demo was all ready to go beforehand, but we weren't able to catch everything. Oh, and this will also be the first look into some of our new mechanics, like the computer. We'd originally wanted to show them this time, but with GDC disrupting our schedule, we felt it was better to hold off until the next devlog. So first things first, we ran into a soft log caused by the way we generate floppy disks. There are certain requirements for when a disk could be displayed to the player, in order to make sure that any floppy disk that can be chosen has some sort of usefulness. It wouldn't really make sense to allow someone to select a card that increases the frequency of the watermelon bomb when the watermelon bomb hasn't even been unlocked yet, for example. In some cases, when a floppy disk had multiple requirements, the card generator would also think that there were negative cards available. The system wouldn't know how to handle this, so the player would be left with nothing to do, preventing them from continuing. Luckily, this was a pretty easy fix, and is something we definitely should have caught before the demo. Following this, we had a few smaller issues where the team would know they happened, but didn't know the exact sequence of events that led up to it happening, which made it very difficult to reproduce. I opted to add Unity analytics and crash reporting to the game to automatically catch these issues. I added custom events for wave generation and card selection, since these were the most common points where an error could occur, and like with a lot of these fixes, they needed to be completed quickly, which meant that I couldn't spend too much time making sure the bug fixes were perfect or any changes happened ideally. I'm definitely going to go back and fully flush these out in the near future so they're ready to go for any other problems that might pop up. Quickly running through some of our other bugs, we had very large bombs escape the table bounds and explode rather than get auto-diffused. Some floppy disk requirements weren't being properly enforced, and our new bomb, the Jack-in-the-Box, was sometimes chosen when it wasn't supposed to be, which led to a soft lock. Other than that, we had some quality of life changes as well. To be honest, the biggest impact change was probably removing the quit buttons. This is something we've run into in the past, but it just completely slipped my mind. As it turns out, it's common for people to press quit when they're done with their session, which of course quits the desktop instead of going back to the main menu. A simple change once again, but definitely important and saved us some headaches. And finally, I also added a brightness slider to the pause menu. When the light falls in Short Fuse, the main lighting in the scene also goes out. While this is intended to make the game more difficult, we also know that this can make it very challenging to play in brightly lit rooms, or if there are any problems with color blindness. And while we couldn't address concerns for color blindness options in time for GDC, we do plan to add additional support through different textures and color profiles in the near future. And that's all for our second devlog. This was only our second video and we're already throwing in a very different approach. We hope it gave you some extra insight into our process. Anyway, let us know what you think in the comments and in our Discord link below. Wishlist the game on Steam too if you haven't already. If you're looking for something else to watch, we have our first devlog that we released last month, or you can check out some of our shorts. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.